Hello, preppernation. Are we 5x5, son? Please tell me y'all see this so I can take it off. I know it's ridiculous. Beaverines, what's going on? Thank y'all for being here, moderators, so y'all can see this masterpiece. I know. So let me tell you real quick. Sorry about that, heathen. I thought it was a flag, and I went to hang this bad boy up. I was going to hang it up right back here yesterday. Turns out it's a net gator. So there you go. For anybody that missed that yesterday, you can go back and watch the replay. But yeah, let me take that off now. But I got something to wear to Buc-ee's when I finally go, son. Thank y'all for being here this morning. I figured I would switch it up a little bit and kick it off like a couple of minutes before and see if that slows chat down a little bit as well. Thank you to the usual suspects for being here. If you're brand new to Prepper Nation, consider subscribing. Consider keeping them hands and legs inside the vehicle at all times. I'm trying not to spill coffee on this laptop. First in the house, and he kicked it down, Max Havoc. Congrats on that. We're going to get to the snow, but first, as you can see with the thumbnail art, there's some strange things a brewing. I think it's in Montana right now. It's not the Goodyear blimp, but is this America's final warning for before World War III? Second Amendment, thank you very much. So first and foremost, and I should have ran this as the poll, is this indeed a spy balloon? For anybody that has not heard, we have this huge balloon over Montana, very, very high altitude, way above where the commercial traffic would be. The Pentagon is saying, hey, we think this is a spy balloon. Jets were deployed to knock it down yesterday. Joe Biden changed his mind. He said, no, son, we're not going to knock it down. We're just going to keep an eye on it and just let it, coast on through. Now, is this a spy balloon? Or is this propaganda? Y'all tell me what you think in the chat here. Rapala says anybody that thinks that's really a spy balloon is an idiot. So being objective, I've just seen it on TV. I'm not actually there with eyes on the thing. I don't know what it's carrying. I did think that it was kind of odd, but this is not the first incident that they have had up in that region. It's a huge balloon. I forget how big, actually. It's 3 or 4 bus lengths, and they don't exactly know what this thing is carrying. Again, they think it's spy equipment, but this the red balloon, Herba said. So this brings us to an interesting question. Is it time to start protecting America, or do we continue to protect Ukraine? If we can only pick one to protect, and I believe that's true. I don't know that we can protect Taiwan, but I don't want to go down that road today. Do we protect the United States? Do we finally wake up, or is our government so compromised that they're just going to allow this to happen? Thing is, it doesn't matter if it's a spy balloon or not. In my opinion, it should be shot down. This is what I would do as president. I would shoot it down. I would collect the debris. I would put it in a box, probably with like a goat head or something Godfather style, and I would mail it back to the leader of China to send a message. But this is not going to happen. The Pentagon is monitoring this stuff. They are monitoring nuke-ready subs off the eastern seaboard. They are monitoring all kinds of stuff. When does the Pentagon actually do anything for the United States? The Pentagon's all over it when it comes to Ukraine, but they're not really working for us too much. As a military leader, I've got to be sitting there at some point thinking, there's a laptop floating around still to this day. Joe's son made tons of money from China. We've got a general in Mark Milley who admitted that he's been talking to China backdoors. We've got our colleges infiltrated. They're buying, let me see, I wrote this down. They've bought so much farmland here that it's ridiculous. I don't know where I wrote it. hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland here in the United States. At some point, as a military leader, when do you step in and say, okay, we're way too compromised? It's time. Where's the fail safe? Who is going to step in and stop this madness? Are we going to wait until the Chinese go door to door and the Pentagon's going to say, hey, son, we just monitoring that too? You know, when does it stop? When do we stop being intimidated by China? I get it. They're our top trade partner and they've got so many boots to put on the ground. It's ridiculous. But, you know, at some point, you got to stand up for your own country, right? I mean, even Ralphie off the Christmas Story, he eventually got tired of it and started swinging on dude. I forget his name, the redheaded guy, Fargus or something like that. Y'all don't be hating on me. It's been a while since I've seen it, but again, I mean, this is ridiculous. What's left to monitor? Seriously, it's literally over Montana right now, harvesting information or doing God knows what. It should not be here. This much is clear. You know, whether it's straight off course, whether it's a spy balloon, doesn't matter. Ralphie, I know I had to go there, Robin. Ralph, he even got tired of it, though, you know? The boy ain't getting his rifle. He starts crying. He starts wailing on the bully. I'm tired of being bullied by this country that, it's a third world country. I mean, I would call a spade here, son. They're communists. The money's at the top, and everybody else is living like they're back in the 1700s. When are we going to have enough of this nonsense? We got celebrities. We've got athletes bound down to these people. We've got Hollywood bound down to these people. We've got the music industry bound down to these people. They are not that great. I said it right here on YouTube, son. They're not that great. So, I mean, it's nonsensical. And I hate, I know we got bigger fish to fry, so to speak, with the cold weather, and we're going to get there. But how much longer is the United States going to allow this to happen? How much longer is Biden and his little kick around cronies in the White House going to allow this to happen? How much longer are our lawmakers going to line their pockets with Chinese money before they finally stand up and say enough's enough, or before our military or whatever needs to happen goes in and says no more? We're tired of being compromised. We do not speak Chinese here, son. Do I look Chinese? I'm paying taxes. And I'm kind of getting tired of being bullied by this country halfway around the world. I don't care what treaties have been signed. I don't care how many people live there. I don't care what needs to happen. This is the United States of America. And it's time we remember that. Our leaders need to remember it anyway. What's going on, Ivan? How you doing, brother? They got spyware on social media. They've compromised Silicon Valley. There's probably a red light going off right now at YouTube. Oh, my God. They're talking negatively about the Chinese on preppernation. Dude was wearing a beaver-faced gator, son. He keeps saying the word son. What's going on here? Please translate. They've infiltrated the colleges. Some of y'all have kids, sadly, that have went to college. Diehard Republicans or conservatives, maybe they're not even Republican, not even political, but they've got faith-based values. Maybe they go to college, they come back, their hair looks like a bag of Skittles, and they're like, you're wrong. This country sucks. Capitalism sucks. I keep seeing that on social media. It's not capitalism if you have big government. Google it. We are not in a capitalist society right now, because if we were, it would be humming along and the government would be very, very small and out of people's business. So whatever these people are being taught at universities and things, I don't know. But it's not capitalism that's killing this country. I can tell you that right now. And I don't understand. I just don't understand them having this dream of turning the United States into a communist country. They're plenty. Go live in one. It's not hard. You get on a plane, you go over there, and then when you get there, you do what you do. But these people have this, I know I'm ranting, folks, but these people, they graduate college and they have this disillusion where they're still going to have the benefits of an American country, but hey, we're going to be commies now. No, it don't work that way, son. You do what they tell you to do, or they're going to start kicking you off rooftops. That's how it works. Or you start disappearing. That's how it works. So if something happens to me, y'all know who to go after, right? We're turning a blind eye to the origins of the C-19 for how long now? Where'd this stuff originate? Could it be that it came from the same country that's trying to sack us from the inside out? When are we going to start asking that question? Not us, folks. I'm not saying the Beaverines, but I'm talking about the people at the federal level. Rand Paul's the only one that I've heard mention that. It's ridiculous. I know this is never going to happen, but here's my pipe dream. You know, college kids that graduate with rainbow colored hair, they can have dreams. Here's my dream. I want a list of everybody in our government that gets Chinese funding for anything. You know, kid needs glasses. They need optometrist insurance or whatever, vision insurance. And a Republican takes them in. I want to know if the Chinese are paying for it, son. I want to know what they are paying for and buying up in this country. I want to see a comprehensive list. Can we please get that? Here it is. I want to know why the Chinese own 192,000 acres of farmland here in the United States of America. Why would they need to do that? Why would we allow ourselves and our people to sell it to them? We don't have to worry about a boots on the ground invasion. They've already taken it over, son. They're just sending if respectfully, this is a spy balloon. Time, thank y'all. And FJB, even though it says let's go, Brandon, y'all know the deal. Any Biden fans in the house? I hope not. But whatever. They're harvesting information. They're up over Montana right now. Is there anybody talking negatively about our great nation? Joe Biden's like, we're monitoring the situation. The Chinese put out an official statement, and they said, you know, we have no intention of spying on other countries. You don't have the intention of doing it because you're freaking doing it. You don't have to have the intention. It's present tense, son. You're already doing it. We already know. A lot of the social media has been compromised. That's been proven. They'll probably flag it down below the video, but it's already happening. We don't need to talk about what you have the intention of doing when you're doing it. This would be like somebody robbing a 7-Eleven, and in the middle of robbing the 7-Eleven, I have no intention of robbing the 7-Eleven. It's too late. You're already robbing it. Are you kidding me right now? Pentagon. What is the Pentagon doing? What do the people at the Pentagon? Is somebody not asking questions, you know? What do we do about these submarines? We've got Iranian warships, albeit only 2 of them, headed our way. Sink them. Sink them. Send a message. Sink them. Go down, get what wreckage you can, mail it back to Iran. Or mail it to China. Send a message. Have a strong leader for once. Biden, this dude is a clown, man. He is the weakest leader this country has ever had. And it ain't even close. And God forbid if he's out of office, because Kamala Harris comes in and she's going to be sneakier about it. She's going to still do the same stuff, but she's going to be sneaky. Sucks, man. Sucks. Somebody said yesterday, enemy at the gates. Except in our case, the enemy's already here and they're controlling the gates. They're controlling what we see on mainstream media. They're controlling what we see on social media. If we say naughty things like the word patriotism on social media, hey, they put you in a corner. They put you in a room by yourself and turn the light out on social media. And you're just having a conversation by yourself. I'm glad to see people chatting it up. Yeah, what gates? Thank you, Mad Outdoorsman. What gates? That would imply that we actually have gates at the southern border and we're closing them. Who can forget about that? Do we have a backup channel? Yes, we do. It's not linked below, but I'll go back and I'll link it at the top. It's nonsensical, man. It really is. And I just wanted to mention that and get everybody's thoughts on the spy balloon before we get into the storm of the generation. This one's called the generational Arctic outbreak. Um, Let me jump on the poll here. Figured they'd pull this now. Is your area expecting generational Arctic outbreak? Versus at least the poll is 50-50. Half of the live and say, yes, you're expecting it or you're already getting it maybe. 50% are saying no. Um, so just understand if you're in an area that is expecting this, it's supposed to be nasty. They're talking with wind chill and things like this, minus 40 degrees or even colder in some spots. And they are saying avoid being outdoors this weekend. All right. I'm sorry, but if it's past, if the balloon's passing over your state and it's you want to run out like it's a comet or something, like a communist comet, and just look at it, don't do it. I don't want y'all freezing to death outside, son. You have to watch it on CNN or something and just mute the TV and just watch the footage. Use today. Today is Friday. Yeah, use today. It's freaking Friday to make sure that you have the things you need. Most preppers are already going to have the things they need, but just double check and be sure. All right. Wrap your pipes or consider wrapping your pipes, literal pipes, Uncle Charlie. Let me just say, since it's Friday, Outlaw Farms, thank you very much. Minus 61 in Maine currently, or they're expecting that. Outlaw Farms, thank you for the support, by the way. Plenty of extra batteries on hand. Again, this is a prepping staple. Most people got them, but just in case, a secondary source of heat, whether it is a propane heater. If it's a propane heater, make sure the carbon indicator and stuff is working on that joker and the whole 9 yards. Maybe it's a wood stove, whatever. Make sure you have a secondary source of heat because that is very, very cold, even indoors if you would lose power. Open and eat foods. Can't say enough about open and eat foods during a snow event because nobody's trying to do the dishes when the grid's down. You know what I'm saying? Paper plates, paper forks, napkins, paper cups. Somebody clowned my paper coffee cup yesterday, and it had hearts all over it. My wife bought those for me. How dare you? But it just makes things easy and plenty of water, bottled water, and stuff like that. All right. Because again, it's only for a weekend. Yes, please have more than one can opener, Amelia says. She's saying, please always have at least two. As a prepper, you should have plenty of these things. One for every 5-gallon bucket, even if it's a military can opener, but have options to open cans. Very important. Thank you. Flashlights and candles goes without saying, but you always have those people that are like, nah, what happened? I don't have any candles. H Welder, thank you very much for the support. FJB, son. All day, every day, but not literally. You know what I'm saying? Blankets, extra blankets, hot hands. Hot hands are not very expensive. They can make a huge difference if it comes down to sleeping under additional blankets or if you have to go to like a climate bag or something like that. Make sure you consider your pets. Don't be a dirt bag. If it's 40 below, bring the pets in, okay? And make sure you have the preps you need for the pets. And make sure that the hot water bottles also work. Yeah, they work very similar to what a pack of hot hands would do. It's very good. Make sure your car is what I call leave ready. Would you anticipate in minus 40, minus 50 degrees having to leave the house? No, but you never know what's going to pop up and happen. Okay. So make sure your vehicle is gassed. Make sure you got the antifreeze in there. Make sure you have a bag inside your car in case you would get stranded while you were in your car, that sort of stuff with an additional flashlight, blankets, all this. Okay. Having said that, add anything else you want to. And let's do a roll call. Robin, good morning. Ultra Mega, good morning. Michael G, what's up? Jacob S, Salty Dog is in the house. Bernard's up in here. Kelly is here. And man, that new thumbnail art of yours, where you going? Jamie Hill, good morning. Papa's Farm, good morning. Philip, what's going on? Heathen, Thank you again for the care package. Misty, good morning. Tony, good morning. It's flying. Raven P, Jack Burton, good morning. Woo. Chad, what's going on? Indiana Prepper, I see him sliding through there. What's going on, man? How you doing? Jim Dawson, good morning. Mine's going crossed over here. Kelly Herzl, good morning. Greta, as long as it's not Greta Thunberg, that'll work. How you doing, man? And good morning. Silverback, Tammy, what's going on? So, who's getting weather out there? Let me know that. Forrest, Jim Smith's World, how you doing? Flawlessly May, good morning. Who is getting weather or who is anticipating getting some nasty weather? Because half of y'all sounds like it's going to be nasty for you. Minus 22 in North Dakota, Carl Miller says. Paradise Acres just says FJB. Lady Smith is getting some weather. We got snow yesterday morning, Dynamite says. It's windy here. We hadn't gotten any snow, but it's really windy and it's cold. It's probably I don't know, I'm just estimating here. I haven't actually checked. It's probably very low 30s or high 20s with the wind. Very windy in West Virginia, Lori says. Minus 14 in Illinois. So let me just say this. All right. Again, take care of the stuff that you need to today. Make sure you're gassing the vehicle up. Make again with the open and eat. I know the open and eat foods are not extremely healthy, but for 1 or 2 days, especially if you have kiddos, it makes life a lot easier. Pay attention to the gas stations, the grocery stores, and the package stores, which is going to be like your liquor and tobacco and stuff. Watch the chaos at these stores, okay? Watch what transpires. If you happen to go to a grocery store, you know, as a prepper, this is always entertaining for me. I'm twisted, I guess. It's entertaining because when we do go, it's not to panic buy. We already have what we need. My wife's like, you know, maybe I'll get another thing of small bags of chips or something for the kids or something. But we always go and I'm watching buying habits. I'm paying attention to what people are buying. The frozen foods always get wiped out. I mean, that's and the beer. That's the first 2 things that get wiped out. The package stores where they sell the hard liquor and stuff, man, it's like a revolving door of people rushing in and out before a snow event. And then gas stations, of course. I mean, you always have people piling in at the last minute. So try and avoid that, but just pay attention to that. Um, you know, and in a twisted way, maybe get a little amusement out of it as a prepper. Just watch the zombies, you know. If you know you're safe and you're going to be tucked in nice and safe at home, it's kind of like sitting on the rooftop and just watching the zombies do their thing. The non-preppers, for anybody that doesn't know, I get entertainment out of it, son. Beer is overrated, Worminati says. Well, a lot of it will be bought today and tomorrow. People will be trying to come out in the snow and buy it. Got my hard coffee for the nighttime, Bernard says. Tony says we eat TV dinners twice a week to save money. At least there's a method to the madness. At least you know why you're eating TV dinners. You know it's saving you money. I'm talking about if you go to the grocery store today, very early tomorrow, you'll see straight panic. People are buying without purpose, just because they know something's coming. They have no plan, and you're just watching. You know, my son's up here looking through the Pokemon cards. I'm watching people cuss in the self-checkout and stuff like this. What they're like, what inflation? Beer and fish sticks. Yeah, Dirt Track, they're always up there. Beer and fish sticks are zombie staples. Frozen pizzas help save as well. We don't do a lot of the frozen ones, but we do the pizza kits, like to make your own deal. A lot of people don't like Chef Boyardee, but look, son, I love the sauce. I'll tell you straight up. It's probably horrible for you, but I love the sauce. The kits are pretty cheap, and the kids enjoy doing like the dough and stuff, or they used to. My daughter's kind of she realizes she's being scammed now, I think, and she's not so entertained by it anymore. You know, she used to be able to stand up in a chair, do it, and she thought she was a chef, and And now it requires coming out of her room. And she's like, no, man, what y'all trying to do here? Michelle Dempsey, good morning. The sauce is good. Thank you, Delta. My wife doesn't like it. Me and the kids do, though. Yes, that stuff is good, Bama Jen. Grew up on it. You almost had to, Randy, if you didn't have a ton of money growing up, man, because that stuff would feed on the cheap. Has like I guess it still comes with the powdered cheese. The stuff we're buying comes with the powdered cheese still, yeah. Almost like a cheap Parmesan cheese, right? Chef Boyardee is king. Chewbacca. And, we buy the raviolis and stuff. And again, I know it's horrible to can ravioli and beefaroni and stuff. I know it's terrible for you. It's not clean eating or anything, but man, I like them as preps. Triple T Tony, how you doing? Good morning. I love that as preps, and I love Denny Moore beef stew, man. I'll buy the off-brand, but Denny Moore's got it going on. Something about that sauce. Man, I'm getting hungry. Something about the sauce they put in there. I'm almost afraid to look at the ingredients on these two things, though, to be honest with you. Bernardo, good morning, and thank you very much for that. You can. The prepping artists, you can eat them right from the can. You absolutely can. Now, we were talking about the Best By date yesterday. I would not encourage people to do that after the Best By date because then you're taking a little bit of a chance, probably still safe, but you don't want to get stranded and your stomach be tore all to pieces. I'll catch that one in just a minute, Jim Smith's World. But as long as it's in date, you can absolutely open and eat it cold. They ain't going to hurt you. Jim Smith, did you check the dates and lot numbers on your Vienna sausages? No, I saw there was a recall or something like that. But they have their own little spot, kind of like the Alex Jones spot on the shelf. All of the canned meat and the like the stuff my wife won't eat, the spam and the corned beef and all this. And so yeah, we need to go through it. It doesn't get touched very often. I admit it, we have a love of fish sticks. Sleepyhead. Well, I'm not big on seafood in general, but fish sticks really aren't seafood. Just saying. Oh, I'm sorry to hear it, Chewbacca. You ran your mouth about shopping. Now Dome Seeker has me going to Aldi. Um, good luck. I hear they're raising their prices, man. Canned foods are good at least 1 year, Cheryl. So they're good typically right about 2 years before you hit the Best By date. Now you got to pay attention because something I've noticed past few months is when you go to buy canned food, there's like 6 months left on it before the Best By date. I don't know if they just don't have a ton or they're just not rotating it or what. But this has happened at several stores. But normally when you get one that they've put out, it's going to give you about 2 years, and then you can go beyond 2 years. But once you go beyond that Best By date, it's time to start sniffing it. It's time to seriously consider cooking what's inside the can. If that needs to happen, you're looking for bulging and stuff like that. You will survive. Luann, spam straight from the can. You will survive. Whatever is coming, you're going to survive it. If you can eat spam raw out of the can, I can eat it. It's got to be fried. I prefer it either with eggs or on a sandwich with some mayonnaise. Remember mayonnaise? Remember being able to afford that? Small containers are like $5 now. My wife was just complaining the other night. But yeah, spam's cool. But if you can eat it straight out of the can, hey, you're going to make it. You're going to be all right. Suburban prepper, I'm still eating SpaghettiOs with the Best By date of 2000. Yeah, and you can get away with it. You just, after that Best By date, you just want to use a little caution, and I'm sure you do. Because Best By does not mean it's expired and no good. And especially when you start getting into the meats and stuff like that. Potted meat, Max Havoc, yeah, that's up in that special corner too with the other not so popular meats around here. The stuff that my wife will eat, but she despises, and the stuff my kids have vowed never to eat. They tried Spam once. They said, "We'll never eat it again." I said, "Never, don't say never because you don't know, son." I'm bulging, Michael G says. Uh-oh. Um, Sally, I see you. John, why are you worried about the Best Buy date? The FDA is stamping them. Yeah. And another alphabet agency telling the truth, right? Oh, Sergeant Rudy says, I watched Amerigeddon last night and it was horrible. So y'all trying to get me to watch something that's horrible. A lot of that come highly recommended. And they're saying don't do it. Don't do it. Deviled ham's all right. Yeah. Potted meat is good on crackers. Yeah. I know people that eat it that way. And I mean I can eat potted meat, but I'll be honest with you, out of all of the canned meats, that's probably the lowest down on my list. You know, I can get into the Spam, what we call the trash um, canned meats. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking about like albacore tuna. I'm not talking about chunk white chicken. I'm talking about the trashier stuff. Potted meat's probably the last on that list. You know, I can eat the rest of it. Um, Jank Man, it is set to a minute and a half, brother. I can't slow it down no further than this. People just apparently they have feelings about potted meat. Potted meat, yeah, Ark Nanny, that's a good point. Potted meat just kind of has that texture like cat food, you know. And again, I can eat it, but it's not my first go-to. If I'm reaching on that shelf, I'm going for Spam first, and then I'm working my way back to the potted meat. But I've seen some nasty stuff, man. I was just telling y'all yesterday, she doesn't like the Vienna sausages because of the slime that's inside. But her granddad, God rest his soul, who grew up during the Depression, the Great Depression, he would get the slime when he was done eating the Vienna sausages. Oh, it used to make her gag. He would take the slime out with a spoon and put it on a piece of bread and eat it. Like he wasted nothing. I was like, dude, are you gonna eat the can next? What's going on here? And I mean, I mean to tell you, like, what is the slime anyway? We don't even know what it is. And yeah, ooh, he would put it on there like toast and stuff. Not kidding, because he said it had a good taste. And I'm like, man, okay, so I already know what's in the Vienna sausage, and it ain't no good. But at least I can eat that. But the slime, at that point, uh, fat and gelatin. Yeah, that sounds about right. And I mean, that's pretty hardcore. Um, it's just gelatinous. Uh, y'all leave Dome Seekers dogs alone. Good Lord, man. Them poor dogs gonna be scarred for life. The slime is salty fat. Thank you for that, Janelle. Um, Feral cats love Vienna sausages. My dogs will eat them. We've had some that have been when that kind of meat gets questionable, like it's several years out of date and it's not bulged and it still smells okay, but we're sitting back like, now this is before Joe's economy, but we're sitting back and we're thinking, that can of Spam is 89 cents. We can replace it. It's been up there for a long time. Like it says support our troops and it has a Confederate flag on. It's time to get rid of it, son. And we're like, well, we'll let the dogs have it, and they tear it up. And then you just replace it, with 89-cent can. But now Spam is like $4 a can where I'm at for the smaller cans. For the brand name Spam. I know they got store brands and stuff. Not good for dogs, Carrie. I mean, it's not like a constant diet. We mix it up with dry food and stuff, and it's every so often. Not we weren't doing it for and a limit of one. Thank you, Ark Nanny. We weren't giving it to them for weeks on end or anything. It's not good for anybody, probably when you break it down, all the salty content. Zemi says, I guess we were poor. We ate potted meat, spam, hot dogs, and fish sticks. No, I ate a lot of that stuff growing up. Potted meat. If you would take out potted meat and put in potato soup, that was probably our staples right there in cereal. Daniel Farmer says, yeah, about $4 here as well. Canned chicken is 20 for $5 at Sam's. So we don't have a Sam's anymore membership. We have the, what is it, BJ's Wholesale or something. What's up, Brian Green? Bama Jen, thank you. Shout out to Ed Johnson's 8-year-old. There you go. And thank you for reminding me, because my man Linville, if he is out there watching, you've been on my mind, brother. It's somebody that lives here locally. He's had a ton of health problems. They didn't know if he was going to make it or not. He just finished his last treatment yesterday. Brother, I'm so glad to hear that, man. One of the best mechanics I've ever met, and one of the kindest dudes I've ever met to boot. Are you kidding me? And we believe what the Chinese government tells us, Sherry. I don't believe anything anymore. I don't know what to believe. The Chinese government, propaganda, CNN, what's the difference really? You know, Don Lemon works at one of them. I mean, that's pretty much, that's it, you know? No, see, Jim Smith, fried pork brains and eggs are good. Now, see, I was hungry, man. I ain't even hungry anymore. Yeah, I don't believe. What do you believe? What do y'all believe? Thank you, Amelia. Like, where do y'all go for news? Because here, it's a collection of sources. It's gotten so bad, and I'm not dunking on InfoWars or anything, but when InfoWars becomes part of your regular rotation for news, you know the mainstream media is jacked up. Of course, I'll glance at CNN, I'll glance at Fox, I go to Al Jazeera, I go to BBC, I go to Sky News. I realize they're all propaganda. What's the Indian one? Weon or something like that. And it's just like, you take all this stuff, it's like a potluck of mainstream media, and you just put it all together, and then you have to sort through to find the real news. Redacted, somebody says. What is Al Jazeera? It's a news agency. Martin O'Ryan. They're pretty accurate on most of the news coming out of Ukraine so far, because they really don't have much skin in the game one way or the other. And the story they tell seems to be in the middle of CNN and Fox and RT News, which is the Russian news. It seems to be right there in the middle. So that's pretty accurate for me. And then you match them up. You know, if something's being told about Russia, like we were talking about the bounties and stuff yesterday, and the cash rewards, I hear that in Western media. So then I go to RT News, and they're saying the same thing. So they're verifying that news, and I know that's, it's pretty accurate at that point, if neither side's denying it. Sky News seems good, but almost satire. Gen G, a lot of it does, and I'll dunk on Sky News for a second. The beginning of the pandemic, you would have thought you were watching Sky News Sports, because Sky News Sports, they're big into football, real football, not American football. Sorry, Big T. But they run the sports ticker nonstop. And Sky News was like posting this infection ticker and all this. It was just a year of fear porn nonstop coming from Sky News. They were the ones, they were worse than CNN, actually. Oh, we got meat lockers outside the hospital. We got this going on. We got this. I mean, it was really bad. Epoch Times, I've watched that. Breaking Point, I need to check that, Bob. Real American Voice TV. Well, you don't want to get it from one place. I appreciate that, Tony, but you don't want to get it from one place only, because I, you know, Although I do try and go in and vet sources and stuff, some of the stuff that I see is bound to be propaganda, and it slips past. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. Marfugel is very good as well. I've spoken to him back and forth a couple of times on Twitter. I said, "Hey man, I'm a huge fan of yours over here, son." But I don't think he understands the son part. Newsmax is pretty good most of the time. NC Fox has turned commie. Chewbacca says Fox has always been propaganda, just like CNN, but they have been conservative propaganda up until recently, and now they are, man. They're going more left leaning. I think. I think they've been infiltrated with lefties and commies and stuff. You're right on that, because I can see it kind of switching over as well. Tim Johnson, John, what's up with the tie? I'm not hating on it. I'd like to see you go on corporate news. So, long story short, in about 20 seconds, my friend here locally was clowning me. When the channel started to take off, he was like, dude, you look ridiculous. You're wearing camo. You just don't look professional. So the next day I wore a tie to clown him, and it just caught on. People wanted to see him. They started sending me ties and things. And so when we hit 1,000 people in the live chat, I throw a tie on so we look fancy over here, brother. Tucker called for the liberation of Canada. They went ballistic. I think Canada, somebody had said yesterday, now I've not verified this, but they put it in the chat and it sounds very Canada-like. They said Canada is sending, I think, 4 tanks to Ukraine. 4. Here, let us part with these 4 tanks for you. Now, they are sending a bunch of armored vehicles and things as well. Blaze TV is good. You can always tell Valerie Ann the good ones because they try to put them over here. They don't want you to see the stuff. Anytime they start hiding channels, there for a while you could not access RT News. It's very hard to access InfoWars. I've noticed if I go through a different browser other than Google, I can get straight to InfoWars. But if I'm using Google, sometimes it's very hard to get InfoWars to load up. When they try and hide the message, you better seek it out, whether you agree with it or not. And they do this to Newsmax as well sometimes. They do that to Blaze as well sometimes. Jeremy, what's going on? I'm glad you made it. Fancy that, Gen X Prepper. I love the name because I'm Gen X. Yeah, I got crazy. I think Big T was probably one of the first to send over a tie, send a Tennessee Volunteers tie, and I put it on one day, and the college ties just kept flooding in. They're like, "No, we don't want to see that." Then Bama Gen sent Alabama, and that set everybody loco. And I started getting all these different college ties, and I don't even watch college football, guys. You know. And on the backup channel, I actually have this. I still have it. It's a ridiculous, ridiculous blaze orange blazer that I got from the Goodwill. And sometimes when we would war game or do history on the backup channel, I would wear that just so I look like George Jefferson or something. Boomers rule. I don't know about that, James Jenkins. Gen X seems to be the level-headed generation here. I'm just saying. Maybe we can run a poll on it sometime. But you know, we were at a restaurant, I think at Texas Roadhouse one time, and we were talking about generations because my 2 kids barely missed each other. Like one of them's Gen Z and one of them is, what is it, Gen Alpha or something. And my wife and I were talking and she's like, yeah, we're Gen X. And I started doing the math in my head, which is hard for me. So I got the calculator out. I'm like, no, honey, you a millennial. And she didn't even know. And I said, well, this would explain a few things. This really would explain a few things here. We think differently on certain things. You know, I'll be playing 80s music and she's like, what is that nonsense? Kiera, the Economist channels, it's hard for me because they're speaking up here. It's almost like a different language. I don't understand a lot of what they're saying, but I do watch them. from time to time. Yeah, yeah. Prepper Trucking says Gen X was raised to question authority. That's exactly right. Degenerates, man. It was literally DX in the WWE. That represented our generation. You know what I mean? I'll just say this: everybody knew what bathroom to use. I don't remember that ever being an issue when I went through school. We had other issues, but hey, man, they only had 2 restrooms, and you knew. You know what I'm saying? You get a hall pass or you line up with the class or something. There was no discussion. People people knew. The Epic Economist, Rebel News. Rebel News I've checked out a couple of times, yeah. I wanna say Rebel News was covering the WEF, if I'm not mistaken, extensively, and they did a really good job. Economic Ninja I've heard of for sure. Here you go. This one's for you, Chewbacca. You ready for this? Since you're gonna bring it up, wrestling fans will get this. Nobody else will. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, D Generation X proudly brings to you its tag team champions of the world. There you go. Oh boy, I didn't see myself doing that this morning. Well, see, I remember Roddy Piper too, but I was little. I was little watching all that. So, WWE and the NFL are the same. Common man. I grew up watching the NFL. I love the Houston Oilers. They kind of just left. I think they became the Tennessee Titans. I said, nah. And then, I jumped on the Redskins because they were kind of a local team at the time. My son still likes I guess they're the Commanders now or whatever. But when they started kneeling down, and I agree with people's right to kneel down, but it was more for me about bringing politics into sports. I just don't think they mix. I think people watch sports for the entertainment aspect of it, and they're not really trying to hear political stuff during sports. Um, it just they lost. I became uninterested in it, to be honest with you, and I just got away from the NFL, and I don't watch it anymore. Which is sad, because I really loved football. But when I got away from the NFL, I started to discover other sports and things. That's how I just found the Canadian Football League. I never watched it, and it's legit. Go woke, go broke. Yeah, I mean it's when they started butting heads with Donald Trump back and forth, and he had something to do with that as well. He was putting them on blast. He had a huge audience and stuff over on Twitter. But when they were going back and forth, I was just sitting back. I can remember as a football fan sitting back thinking, I don't care about any of this stuff. I care about the game of football. And it just got to the point where you turn it on. Even now, my son will be watching sometimes, and I'll be walking through his room or whatever. Um, and they're talking about politics, or they're talking about right now the big thing is race and coaching, like not a diverse enough cast of coaches or whatever, which that may be the truth. I don't know. I haven't followed it in a while, but I'm just like, it's not about the football anymore in the NFL, and I'm done with it, man. I've learned to live without it. Yeah, that too, Ark Nanny says halftime shows got demonic. There's a lot of symbolism and stuff. Um, in pro sports, but especially the NFL halftime show I didn't like. Um, the commercials were just out of control. Like you sit down, y'all think YouTube's bad. You would sit down, you'd watch 2 minutes of football, 20 minutes of commercials. It just became a big waste of time that I wasn't interested in anymore, for various reasons. But I think their numbers are booming now or something. I'm sorry, Outlaw Farms, if I am. I've got full bars over here. But you can't talk about certain things here on CommiTube. They'll nail you. Surprised they didn't pull us down the first 10 minutes today. Jeremy says, yeah, it's a Chinese weather balloon. It's China buffering. I don't know why it would be buffering, y'all. That's the part that makes me want to pull out my proverbial hair because I don't really have any to pull out. It's nuts, man. Like everything that's set up over here literally is 4 months, 5 months old or less. All the lighting, the microphone, the laptop, everything. I got a full set of bars and I'm riding on the highest that we can possibly get from the internet company here. We're paying over $100 a month for the highest speed. And then to come on here and sometimes it's buffering because YouTube don't like what you have to say. You know, it gets old, but what are you going to do? You know, maybe a bunch of us need to get together and just drive to Google headquarters up in Silicon Valley and see what's going on. No emails, you know, let's march on the building and say, "Hey son, what's going on in here?" I need a list of ladies that work here to make sure I have not cross-dated them at one time in my past. We need to start cross-checking these employees. Something is going on. Yeah, y'all right. Maybe it's the Chinese weather balloon blocking the signal out or something. They're pointing one of those, I don't know what they're called, but they're pointing one of those things that look like a cone down here trying to stop the internet. Maybe just to get together. We've had a few, Waldo. We'll eventually have some more for sure. Son works for Google. Sensitive topic. They're laying folks off. Yes, they are. All of the media companies right now. I mean, it's just I think they overhired, to be honest with you. This is just my opinion on this. Beginning of the pandemic, nobody had anything to do other than sit at home and watch like Netflix and Hulu and stuff and play on social media. And now that it's over and now people are going back to work, I think a lot of these places overhired and they're realizing that now. Been without power for 2 days, Arkansas Joey. Prepper practice it is, and I'm glad you're approaching it that way. Sorry to hear you don't have power, but, you know, nobody will get it perfect every time the power goes out here and we know it's coming, because 'cause they'll tell you on the news prior to it, they're like, "We're expecting power outages." You go in with a plan and you think it's a perfect plan, and there's always mistakes. Always mistakes get made. You always forget something or you don't have the stuff sitting out in an area where it needs to be sitting out, but you learn that way. Weather balloon my backside, Outlaw Forum says. I wish I could buy YouTube. Wouldn't that be something, Kelly? Some people be hating on the channel for what we doing over here, like they already bought YouTube. It's crazy. Hey man, Fed is pinging your channel, Rascal Dog. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care that if they show up at the front door, they better have a warrant, and I ain't done anything that's unconstitutional, so they can stick it. I ain't. I'm not worried about people in suits and ties. I go put my blazer on and throw a tie on. I ain't worried about none of that. They better have a good reason though. Otherwise, you know, after we lawyer up and we go through the process, we might own part of Google for sure. Okay, Silverback is working on a flyer for the Kentucky camping trip. So if you're in or around Kentucky, they're going to get that worked up, and then I'll blast it out on the community. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, because sometimes we post stuff in the community section, and you won't see it unless you're subscribed. Um, Dudley, what's your backup channel? I think it's called The Bunker. I don't even remember. I haven't posted over there in a while. Some of the social media, like Rumble and stuff, is down below. But after this video, I'm going to go in and I'll pin the comment to the top. It'll be a link to the backup channel. I need to add that down below, actually. Or Bama Jen can just blast it out for y'all. There you go. Let me catch it, Bama Jen. I need to do more with it over there. It's just time constraints. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Bama. Me in the poll. There you go. So the backup channel, just in case, is pinned to the top. We usually just dump. To be honest with you, we talk history over there. We'll dump camping footage over there from time to time and stuff like that. But we haven't posted over there in a very long time. That balloon is 12 miles up. I knew it was far up there, Private Eyes. What is the range of your ammo? Could y'all hit it? That's 12 miles, man. I don't think we're hitting that. I don't know what kind of ammo and scope y'all got over there. That's awesome. Thank you, Nostra, because anytime we get in trouble over here at Prepper Nation, the hardest part is getting the word out to everybody. Like, some people will figure it out. Some people are on Rumble. Some people know where the backup channel's at. It's really hard to just kind of blast it out all at once. And they know that. That's why they do it. Don't think my potato cannon shoots that high. Thank you, BB. Yeah, do that, Dynamite. So Dynamite, you can put your link in here, brother, if you got it. You're a moderator, but Dynamite has a gaming channel, and we get together sometimes and play online. And he's been streaming and stuff. Mr. Bull Hanson, good morning. How are you doing? We are cold here, sir. We're getting a cold streak in this part of the country. But yeah, and Dynamite, I'll post the link and stuff on Facebook and stuff too, man, so people can hear us struggling as we do the gaming. We've been doing all right though. Me and Chewbacca's been doing all right lately. Even Caveman stepped his game up. Yeah, absolutely you can, Kelly. You can link your channel and we'll close with that. You just saw Mr. Bull Hanson come in here. He has an excellent channel. Y'all already know this, but if you have a channel, these last couple of minutes, feel free to drop it in chat. Let people know so we can boost other people's channels up and stuff like this. Yeah, and Dynamite, maybe, man, I'll dump some of the maybe I'll get into streaming some and dump some of the footage on the backup channel. It's just sitting over there getting cobwebs, stuff like this. Thank you for being here, Jeremy V. I appreciate that. Hair God says, hello, fellow Viking. Yes, Mr. Bull Hanson is a Viking. He has an excellent, excellent channel. Cheryl, thank you. You have an incredible day as well. What console? Elusive, we play Warzone 2, which is cross-platform. Most of us are on Xbox, the new Xbox. Dynamite is on PC because he's just that way. He prefers the PC. McBean, thank you. McBean has two channels, McBean Scottish Fitness and McBean Farms and Prepping. Misty, we have the Xbox Series S, the cheaper one. And we play pretty late at night. That's usually the only time I have to play any of it. V Prep, I got all that old stuff. The logo, War Thunder as well. Yeah, Dynamite. The logo for the channel is inspired by the old TurboGrafx 16 console, actually, because I'm an avid collector of that. Or I was. I've gotten to the top tier games now, and there's no way that I would ever even consider paying what they ask for the top 10 or 12. Um, just want to say it is important to keep communicating across nations and continents. It is that's an excellent point because, as you know, we get propaganda. We get slammed with propaganda. So to hear someone else's perspective, or I consider it real news or a primary source, when somebody is in your area, because you're in that area above Ukraine and Belarus and everything, to hear what's going on that close, I trust you and trust what you're telling me more than I do somebody on my TV screen. Outlaw Farms, thank you very much. So yeah, it is social media. I have a love-hate relationship. I really don't like it, but it is a good way to get accurate information sometimes because you can get it from the primary source. It's not kind of funneled through mainstream media. So I do like it for that. You can find a lot about what's going on. Um, you can see videos in real time and stuff that you're not going to hear on mainstream media. So I do go to it for that. But anyway, folks, y'all have a blessed day. And I appreciate everybody being here and shooting the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Maybe you were offended by the Let's Go Brandon tie. The live chat replay is on. It does take a couple of hours because Google, they go through, they vet the live chat before they post it. So just be warned on that. I appreciate everybody being here. Until next time, y'all take care and God bless.